conversations I had with others there is that
Mm.
smaller companies are bringing some innovation to the market, and we don't see the same innovation from the larger companies, some companies that maybe have some major brands under their umbrella.
That's true. That's true. I really agree with you. Like a company like us, relatively small organization, we always try to think different. We don't want to see because we want to compete with an established player in the market. So established branded company, probably whatever they make, it's easy for them to sell in the market, not for us. So we really have to create the difference. So I would say we are the flag bearers of differentiation. We always strive to bring in uniqueness or differentiation in the market, either as from the product perspective or from the clinical perspective or from the composition perspective or from the technology perspective. In every aspect, we try to bring in innovation. So having said that, that's one of the advantage of being a smaller organization. You are always ready to take the risks. You are always ready to take the challenge. You are always trying to break the seal, like ice. Probably I would say that's one of the advantage, as well as it's challenging also. Like when you come up with something new, something really innovative. So you will have to really convince people, your prospects. So you need a strong science into that. You need a strong storyline. You need people to tell that. Like it takes time. So
Takes time.
that's what all about entrepreneurship challenges. So we are here to take the challenges actually.
We're here to take the challenge. So being in the health and wellness space, Arun, you see you see many ideas that come to the marketplace.
Yeah, yeah,
So, clinical data for a consumer is not usually something that becomes important. But today, with associate marketing, social media marketing, there's a closer connection to the consumer.
yeah, yeah,
I think, my thinking is that by being able to bring more of the dense data of the clinical to the consumer, it
Mhm.
educates them as to, like, at least not necessarily your ingredient, but the science, the mechanism of action. Uh,
Absolutely,
Customers
absolutely.
now are paying attention, especially if you're looking at a specialty space, right? Someone who's willing to pay a little bit extra for their supplements is also doing some research. We as manufacturing partners are in a position to educate our consumer today, help the brand sell to a more informed consumer. How do
Yeah,
we do that? Clinical data you can't make clinical data they put all this time and effort and sophistication designing a study, but then we
yeah.
want to just get the simplest explanation from it. So what's the compromise?
Yeah, that's what actually I was just mentioning. I was answering you to the previous question. Like companies like us, we really challenge the status quo. Okay, so there are two ways to do or bring in a branded ingredient into the market. One is like you take a regular herbal extract, like do some clinical studies, validate its science, and put it as a brand ingredient in the market. The second one is like you try to understand the challenges associated with these herbal extracts. It could be solubility, it could be bioavailability, it could be the active characterization or standardization. So we are into the second phase, like we focus on the second one. We try to improvise the properties of these regular herbal extracts by
Right.
using various technologies or processes, and like we do the real value addition. So we always focus on a consumer centric product development. We just don't want to bring in a regular extract, do some studies and put it in the market. So
Yeah.
that real value addition, the real innovation happens here. And we are proud to say that, like the branded ingredients, whatever we are offering so far in the market, is always being backed with like certain enrichment, science, and value addition.
Right. What's
So so though we are into B2B segment, the development is product development and research is always a consumer centric, a
sure.
B2C centric development.
Yeah.
We give the storyline to our like buyers, a B2B buyer, that like this value addition, this enrichment is always there, and it's being always backed with the science, and the same can be conveyed to the consumer also.
What's a good number of participants in a study? If we're really looking at, getting some meaningful data, what's a minimum number?
See, I would say that minimum should be 50, and like ideally you should do studies at a subject number of around 80 to 100, which will give you like ample evaluation of the efficacy.
Mm,
uh, and so though we started initially with a small number, like a kind of a pilot study, then the second studies, whatever we do, it will be always 50 plus studies. The studies right now we have is, mostly 50, 60, 80, and even 100 number subjects actually.
yeah.
So always, larger the subject numbers is always, good to have, like, yeah, broader study perspective from
Sure.
safety as well as efficacy.
So I gotta ask you, from your portfolio, so I was looking at the Gremin,
Yeah, okay.
Remin.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, right.
GREM.
Right. So with this market space right now, looking at all the emphasis that's going into active nutrition, performance nutrition, uh,
Absolutely.
I really believe that Gremlin has a captive audience today. If you talk about it enough, it should summon enough interest because it fits right into the category that there's a lot of holes. There's
Absolutely.
a lot of
Absolutely.
opportunity to put better products.
Yeah.
Let's start with Gremlin. Talk to me about how Gremlin becomes a product in your portfolio. Where did you first conceive the idea? How are you and your partner thinking? And, I like to hear the genesis of these kind of things because sometimes it's not a straight line.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, they like we normally come from the market. We like look at the market perspective, market trends, and gaps in the market. So like as everybody knows, sports nutrition and active nutrition is one of the very huge segment, and like especially global aging, active nutrition, healthy aging. These are the segments which is going to be the future. And at the same time, we wanted to develop an ingredient which can be positioned in both the segments. As a performance nutrition, it can go into sports nutrition as well as into the active nutrition or a healthy aging segment. So when we zeroed in on, like when we were doing screening of multiple actives, we understood that, green coffee bean extract is one of the, most prominently used, like herbal active, which is plenty available in India. India is a, rich source of green coffee extract. But so far, it's been explored mainly or only in the weight management segment. So we wanted to focus more on the chlorogenic acid side,
Mm.
and like chlorogenic acid has got multiple benefits, basically in the like cellular protein synthesis. It helps in like regulating the creatine kinase LDH pathways, which is basically like to the muscle.
Mm.
And at the same time, when you whether you do a vigorous exercise, when you do start the exercise, you are prone to have muscle wear and tear. So
Mm.
muscle wear and tear is always part of a sports or an active, like in part of a regular activity also. So muscle injuries, muscle wear and tear will be always, associated with inflammations and pain. So we wanted to combine, this chlorogenic acid with curcuminoid. And when it comes to combination, see the interesting part is green coffee is a highly water soluble extract. Curcumin is and completely insoluble. So you cannot simply physically blend two different actives with the two different characteristics. You are not going to get that desired wellness effects. So we have a platform technology here, wherein we infuse both these actives together. It's not a chemical infusion; it's like an encapsulation process, wherein we ensure that some of the limitations of green coffee extract, which is highly hygroscopic in nature. Coffee, like and as everybody knows, coffee is highly hygroscopic. When you keep it open, it can get immediately deliquescent in nature, and it is slightly bitter. Like, so some of the challenges of green coffee extract, and of course the limitation of curcuminoids is solubility and bioavailability. So we wanted to address both these challenges using this platform technology, and we improvised, and this process was used, particularly this biofusion technology was used here, and we improvised and like ensured that synergistic benefits of green coffee and curcumin is being given through Grimin. So Grimin is, if you look at the, in a broader perspective, it's a rich polyphenolic antioxidant, which is completely natural, and gives you synergistic benefits. And this is first one in the market. If you Google out, you'll not find any green coffee curcuminoid combinations in the market. So this is highly innovative and ensuring rich therapeutic benefits also, wellness benefits also. So basically I would say that this can be probably only one ingredient. It can be positioned both in active nutrition as well as in the sports nutrition. Yeah.
We talk about synergistic, and how are we able to describe the synergistic benefits statistically, or how are we able to demonstrate that these two together create a better impact?
Yeah. So someone has asked me, like, what if I'm physically blending these two? I don't want to use creaming. I will just physically blend these two.
Right.
So we said we have done one in vitro study, in animal study, comparing a physical blend versus this technology based ingredient. So the difference is very huge there, like the creatine kinase drop, muscle recovery and inflammation and improvement in inflammation, TNF alpha marker changes were very significant, very prominent in Grimin, which is a technology-based ingredient, compared to a physical blend. So that itself proves that even if you just simply blend together, like this is not going to give you that desired benefit, So this technology definitely helps to improve its properties, and it is, like establishing the synergistic benefits. Yeah.
Yeah, data more than ever before.
Yeah,
When
absolutely.
we
Rather
say
than we speaking or we promoting that, yeah, the physical blend will not work, you should go with that. There is a data. There's a data which is already published in the market, So
Yeah.
that underlines its synergistic benefits when you go with a technology-based ingredient.
So if I asked you after Greenman, which product would you want to, if you were talking to someone in the elevator and you had maybe 10 floors, which product do you talk about first. You have 10 floors to talk to someone, a brand owner, and he says, "Go ahead, tell me about one of your products."
Yeah, so I would go with studies, which is Mangifera indica extract, which we have recently completed our clinical study, and the data also got published, manuscript also got published of late. And this one works well for improving the focus and alertness.
Mm.
Like that's a very interesting segment, especially for me, uh, you know, uh, for a very young generation who are really keen to play, video games. They're really looking for a caffeine alternate which
Mm.
can improve their focus, alertness, and memory. So studies is the really one ingredient, which has given has very promising results in the clinical studies. And apart from clinical studies, we do certain validation also with a group of people, like how the product is behaving, how long does it take to give you that benefits. So even in like offline validation also, we got very positive results. So since this is very relatively new ingredient in the market, so when we approach the companies, they wanted to personally check, they want to see whether product is working well or not. So we have submitted samples to some companies in Europe, some companies in South Korea, even somebody in India also has verified, and they were personally feeling this is working, and they launched the product actually, interestingly, and this is getting launched in US also sooner.
Okay. Well, that's
Yeah,
exciting. So
interesting.
status, S
Yeah,
T
that is.
A D I
You
C.
know the story behind the name
Yeah.
studies.
What's that?
In Latin or Greek, I guess, I don't recollect. Adaes means alert. Okay,
Okay.
he just coined STA, stay adaes, studies, stay alert, stay
Okay.
alert.
All right.
That's what studies.
Status. When we explain the names, sometimes one of the interesting things that I learned, I have to give credit to a gentleman named Keith Dunn. I
Okay,
worked with him at American River Nutrition, and
okay,
he has a lot of experience, multinational brand development. He worked at Blackmore's. He was responsible for China, Southeast Asia, Australia, and then came to the US and was working with a medical practitioner brand, then was working with Dr. Barry Tan, a very elevated scientist. And so a lot of his skills really came through the technical space, and the idea of how do you promote a product? How do you name a product
yeah,
that's got
yeah,
so much information and data behind it? You want it to have a memorable name. These are some very, very big questions. Companies pay big money to consultants to
yeah.
name the product,
That's
right?
right.
And sometimes, when you just give this explanation of the meaning behind the name, and we tell enough people like, hey, status. Do you know what status means? And they'll think status, like what's your status? And
Uh,
we can actually say that, status is not the name of the brand, it's the question. It's the
yeah,
question. It's like, what's your status? Are you alert? And
yeah,
if you're not alert, you take the status. It's a status check.
yeah.
Um,
That's true.
these are kind of things that people just need to hear the name. You see it written down, you don't know exactly how to say it. People pronounce things different. He had given me an advice. I had come up with a product, a functional chocolate that has a it has an active that promotes muscle protein synthesis. So the
Mhm.
idea was put something, if you're going to eat something sweet, if you're a very avid bodybuilder, or if you're really into fitness, or you're a runner, a lot of these people who are really fit, they'll have very avid sweet tooth. They'll eat a lot of sweets because their body is burning everything that they
Absolutely.
eat, right? So
Yeah.
they just eat. I have a nephew who's 26, 27. He does a lot of long distance running. and
Okay.
he's super slim, but he's very cut. So
Uh-huh.
he can eat an entire dozen donuts
Interesting.
because he's running like 20 miles, you know? And when he goes for runs, he runs like a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
and so they get this sweet tooth. So I came up with this functional chocolate to help with muscle protein synthesis.
Oh, yeah.
So then
Okay.
I was thinking of names. And then with I was talking to Keith, and you know, if it was something for the heart, he was like, why not just call it heart if it's something for the heart? So I was like, oh yeah, you know, if it's something for the heart, I would just call it heart. Customer knows what the product's gonna be. And then for the muscle, I said I'll call it muscle up.
Muscle
And
up.
so if someone takes it, it's for the muscle. So
Mm.
you know, the
Mhm.
idea of these ingredients, because the consumer may never know the name of the ingredient,
Yeah, yeah,
but
you're
but
right.
we can tell the story of the brand's finished product through the ingredient. And you know, something about alert, stay alert. Um, that's a really good concept, especially with esports.
Mm.
um there's big money that now is made. And you know, in Vegas at the Luxor, they have a whole arena for esports. That's where they have an annual esports competition. So it's a massive venue that just is for esports. So um that's a huge category, Arun.
Yeah,
You know, I think you know, as we're talking here, I think also these are the kind of ingredients that would be really interesting if presented at the Sports and Active Nutrition Summit. Um,
absolutely.
so I want to
Mm.
reach out to them, and you know, I want to ask them if they because these are the kind of products that if you get onto a panel and
Mm.
get invited to talk about why these products were designed, and how they could be helpful, it really helps the industry kind of move forward, because then others will try to innovate off of your innovation.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
That's the only way I think the industry keeps moving forward, is if one person does it well and then another person tries to do it better, or tries to find another benefit or another advantage.
True, true.
Um,
Yeah, there are a lot of opportunities, and which is this segment is really, I would say, underexplored. And given the fact that India being rich in all these traditional extracts, infusing science, identifying the standardizing it to right actives, purifying it, bringing it to the international standards, ensuring the quality, and validating it with the safety and efficacy. That's what it matters actually. And we are identifying. We are good in identifying the segments, future-looking segments. Like as I mentioned, esports, cognitive wellness, brain health,
yeah.
focus, alertness, and all. That's all. We are getting a lot of queries on studies at this moment, and people are asking us like whether it can be positioned in the child segment, child health, child wellness. Like of course we will have to have a more study on that. So, but in the future, definitely that's also an option.
So we for status, are there any clinical reports or any
Yeah.
data
Yeah,
available?
we did a clinical study, and manuscript is also being published very recently. As I mentioned earlier, it's a 60 subject clinical study, and data is also published. So, we are happy to share that if someone requires.
Yeah, what would you summarize that report that you have? Like, what did it show in terms of status's effect?
Yeah. So, in 7 days, studies really helps in, improving the focus and alertness by almost around 20 to 30 percentage. It's in a very short time span of 7 days. Of course, when you do, into all these kind of games and all, you need a quick result, right? So studies is definitely helping in, boosting this focus, alertness, as well as memory by around 20 to 30% compared to the placebo. And this has proven without any serious adverse effects. So the product is really safe and effective, and we have done some toxicology studies also on this ingredient.
Okay, so
Yeah.
there's obviously that's such an important thing, especially in a space where if something works, people might
Yeah.
just keep taking it. And so
Yeah,
there should be some studies done that speak to a limit, how much
correct.
is enough. So toxicology is not something that's always discussed,
You are right.
especially with plant extracts. People think assumption is that, oh, it's a plant product, so what harm could it do? But that's a real consideration, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because all are not equal, all are not same. Like the process,
Yeah,
extraction process, and other composition varies from extract to extract, from ingredient to ingredient. So it's always advisable to have certain, like toxicology studies also done.
yeah,
Even if not in a big scale, at least you should have to prove that the product is, safe enough to consume.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
how far can a brand go if they don't talk about toxicology? Like how far can you how long before that becomes a problem?
See, when you go with all these traditionally proven extracts, I believe, as such, if you go with, like a clinical study, which clinical study, of course, covers certain safety parameters also. You're good to go with that, but in a long run, you need to have toxicology data. That's always advisable, actually.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
without yeah. So we talked about a couple of products. I think the category that we both, I think, talked about earlier in our conversations, and I think there's so much room for development and just ideation, women's health, and everything centric in that space. I mean, even active nutrition for women is still a separate category. And within women, there's gut health, and within women, there's different age groups. You have, young
Yeah.
teens, you have teens, you have, up to perimenopause, up to menopause. So, Grantria, Grantria,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the product that you have designed for that category.
Absolutely. You're right.
How do I say it?
Yeah, I would like to start with the Grandria, the name itself. So
Grantria.
Grandria, the Grand comes from Punica granatum.
Okay.
TRI is triple A active. It's a triple active pomegranate extract. Grandria.
Okay.
Okay. That's the storyline behind the name, actually. You know.
I'm
So
writing
it's
that down.
yeah,
Grantria. Grantria.
Punica granatum with the triple actives. Okay.
Wow.
So yeah, so probably we are the only one, or we are the first company to introduce a triple active pomegranate extract in the market, and it's being standardized to multiple bioactives, and it contains and traces of plant vitamin C as well as zinc. So it's a holistic pomegranate extract which we have done a clinical study on around 80 subjects
Okay.
for its beauty within benefits, you know. So in addition to that, we have in addition to this clinical efficacy study, we have like a toxicology study done. We have done an in vitro study to prove its mechanism, like it helps in it mainly like like acts through like collagenase inhibitory pathway and hyaluronase inhibitory pathway, which clearly indicates its anti-wrinkle properties and anti-aging properties. So we have a mechanism of action study done. We have a clinical study done on 80 subjects, which is now under review with an Elsevier journal. Probably it may get published in a month time. And we have done a, like a toxicology study also in this case. So, this pomegranate extract is a well proven traditionally used ingredient. It is called king of fruits in India, and because of its wider application, like every part of pomegranate has got actives, bioactives.
King
So
of Fruits.
yeah,
I like that. That's a great title.
yeah.
So are we, when we're at Supply Side West, we should go find some good pomegranate
Yeah.
and give it out. We should serve pomegranate.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And if people ask why we're serving pomegranate, we just say it's the king of fruits.
Yeah. You're
So
right, actually. It has got multiple benefits in women health. See, beauty from within is one of the areas which we have studied, and it has got benefits in even menopausal health also,
okay.
which is a future segment. And it has got benefits in like heart health. You know, it helps in regulating your LDL levels. There are a lot of studies done on that. So that's why it is called king of fruit. You know, it has got diverse wellness benefits. You know,
I
and
think that's a good story. I think from a women's health standpoint, we should really advertise this in your portfolio. So
yeah,
anybody who's curious about developing a more diverse line, because the product offerings in that space could use more substantial ingredients. Anything that could be efficacious, I think there's a big market there.
absolutely.
I've seen at
Women,
the last.
as you might have seen in NBJ, women health. Women health is one of the very predominant segments, faster growing segment, and menopausal health, of course, is a new buzz in the market. And so pomegranate, I would say that it's going with the trend, like, and among the prospective inquiries we have, most of the interest came from US is mostly on the Grandria. And given the fact that women health is one of the biggest areas, biggest concerns as of now, and beauty from within is one of the areas, but considering that anti-wrinkle, anti-aging properties, and like menopausal health, then heart health. See, everything can be clubbed together into a holistic perspective. Like, so I would say, Grande is also a very potential ingredient in our portfolio, and we are happy that we are into that space actually, women health.
Yeah, when we start thinking about dosage, when we were talking about the clinical study that was done on 80 subjects,
Yeah.
what is the dosage of this that is recommended for
Yeah,
efficacy?
the dosage is relatively less. It is around 300 milligram once a day. Yeah, it's a relatively small dose. And this study was done, as I mentioned, on 80 subjects for 60 days. And we have seen very positive results, and which will be published soon. Manuscript is under review with a, like a peer-reviewed journal, actually.
That's really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, beauty within that category never really goes out of style. There's always like a competition for which product is going to own it. But now it really comes down to strong marketing, getting that finished product into the hands of the massive associate marketing, affiliate marketing,
Yeah.
the products that are for sale on TikTok Shop and brick and mortar is still very compelling, but the growth of this market is obviously in direct to customer. So
Yeah.
promoting this to companies that don't really have strong pipeline could be really helpful. This is where we want to get some attention. This is
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
category to get some attention.
Global category, like I would say, not just United States, across the globe. This is the category which we have to watch out for. And we are really excited to be part of that actually.
Yeah.
A good ingredient, very very well proven, well studied ingredient, with a gold standard clinical study. And it's really effective in that case, and it can be positioned into diverse wellness areas. Overall women health can be covered using this ingredient. That's the beauty of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's jump to another hot segment, gut health.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have two ingredients that could be uh,
Yeah.
useful in the gut health area.
Yeah. So we have one in basically fiber-based product in the gut wellness segment.
Yeah.
Uh, that's the one which we have already studied for its clinical benefits, its safety and efficacy.
Uh-huh.
And we have another one very recently developed. Probably you might have heard about bale fruit, which is a traditional fruit which is being used in India.
Yeah.
Okay. The scientific name is Agile marmalose. So we are the first company to introduce an Agile marmalose based ingredient into the market as a branded ingredient, which works well in like acidity, gastric reflux segment. So, as such, gut health and digestive wellness, both the categories go in tandem, and we have two ingredients in this category. Probably we are, yet to promote it in a big way. We are waiting for the data to be out. So we are just awaiting the clinical outcome of these ingredients. Mainly the Givalin. Givalin is the brand name for Agile marmalose powder, fruit powder.
Mm-hmm.
And once the data is out, we will start promoting that also.
When is that data expected?
We recently started the study and probably 2 months time, 2 months time from.
Well, that's very close to the end, soon after supply side. That's exciting. So
Yeah.
we should definitely let people know as we speak to them that soon after we meet with them at supply side, within a
Yeah.
month,
Yeah.
we can expect
We
some
we-
data.
we have done some preliminary evaluation, kind of a case studies with Ayurveda doctors, Ayurveda physicians, and all. We have got very, positive results, and we are really excited and looking forward for the official clinical outcome. So probably that could be a blockbuster for us, and
Yeah.
we are very happy that we are the only one with that ingredient in the market, actually.
Okay. Can you share any of the preliminary data as far as
Yeah, yeah, I could share that. I could share the case study outcome. We have a paper on that, and
oh nice.
share that actually.
And so that's the
Yeah, yeah,
Javelin. And then there's Consolax.
yeah. Cancelax is the fiber-based product.
So
Uh, you
those
know,
two together would be excellent as a
yeah,
in tandem.
yeah, you're right.
Very good. Yeah, this is a really deep portfolio, right? So you're covering different types of indications. So your brand, the company that would be working with you could have access to diversifying their pipeline immediately. They could create products with each of your branded ingredients and address different indications. It's a
You're right.
one-stop shop.
Yeah.
What kind of
Yes.
support? What kind of support can Zeus Hygia provide to a brand that might find the ingredients interesting, but they're not so deep in their product development staff? They might have a lean team. How do you guys work? How do you guys work with companies like that?
I see, as I mentioned earlier, we are from technical side, I started my career as a product development guy. So we even help companies in, identifying or developing the dosage formats also. We have certain prototype dosage formats developed with us, which we, normally display in events and exhibitions.
Yeah.
Like if companies are facing certain challenges in developing the dosage formats, we our team will step in and we will guide them in developing the formulations also. So in case of selecting the ideal composition, ideal combinations, and like developing a dosage formats, any challenges associated with the dosage formats, we definitely we are ready to step in and we are ready to help actually. Yeah.
Right. I think one of the hardest things to do is try to do it yourself. I think my experience with working with brands is, they'll get all of the information that they ask for, but then they don't maybe ask additional questions. And there's a manufacturer that knows the ingredient better than anybody.
Yeah.
And so letting
Yeah.
letting the manufacturer in to help collaborate or uncover some of the hidden
Yeah.
shine of the ingredient. Where can it be? I
We
think
are
some
not
of this
just
is
a
just
mere
really experience.
ingredient supplier. We don't want to be mere ingredient supplier, like like
Yeah,
it's a relationship. So we always help them addressing the problems associated with them. Even if while formulating, even if the issue is not with because of our ingredient, if any other ingredient, also we are always happy to step in and like address those challenges actually. So it's not always, like I would say that you given an ingredient, the dosage format will come out just like that. You will have to do certain trial and errors. You'll have to do certain formulation development trials and all. So during the course also, we will be part of that development. We will also share our inputs, insights with respect to the ingredient or with respect to the dosage format they're developing. So it's always a win-win, and we are happy to be part of that actually.
yeah, yeah. I think one of the advantages of what we're trying to do is create that direct line between our customer,
Yeah,
anyone that's using the ingredient with the ingredient manufacturer, build up that relationship. So you not only can you develop one product, but you develop a relationship and determine what's the next course of action. And once you get that familiarity, then you can kind of go back to that same well and you kind of keep building on that momentum, especially if you're continuing to do branded ingredients. So you're focused in
yeah.
only evidence-based ingredients, only data-based ingredients. So this is a huge differentiation from any other, I think, commodity broker or commodity trader.
We do that certain that value addition. Like you can underline that. We don't just do branded ingredients. We do value added branded ingredients. So the problem solving. You know.
Problem solving. Yeah, and big companies, I think consolidation could be a huge advantage for us. I think one of the things we want to do is be valuable to companies that maybe have hit some type of development wall. Maybe they don't have enough ideas. So, we should be part of their conversation. So this is what this is about. This is, we're gonna
And
create this.
example, I'm just back from CPHA Korea, and I had a discussion with one of the customers who wanted to launch a product in the like muscle health, joint health, and mobility segment. So we have given them the concepts, you know, of course, combining ghrelin with multiple actives. We
Sure.
given them the concepts, we given them the dosage suggestions, we given them the format suggestions. So, it's like we give them all scientific insights. So
Right.
it's up to them to decide. We give them multiple options. Yeah, you can go this way, you can go this way, this way. Multiple options are being given, and they can pick whatever is best suited for them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's all you can do, create a good foundation,
Yeah.
and then continue the conversation. And obviously, every segment is different. So, dosage form, this leads me to actually a very interesting situation. I've seen growth in the gummy segment, astronomical growth.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I as a consumer, I'm not a big fan of gummies. First of all, I don't eat gelatin. But
Yeah.
even they still have gummies that are made with pectin. and
Yeah.
and similar other alternatives to gelatin. But I just don't like I just don't like gummies for, especially if it's for my supplements. I'm
Yeah.
okay with just taking traditional capsules, but that doesn't mean that that's what everyone wants. Everyone seems to want gummies, but formulating with extracts as is a very, very tricky thing. Specifically, I'll tell you, and I don't know if you have experience with Shilajit, but
Yeah.
just in general, like, Shilajit is black gold. Okay, like people in the US, if they have a good Shilajit product, it's black gold. But
Yeah.
how do you verify that it's good? Secondly, it's very difficult to work with in a gummy in an
Yeah.
efficacious form.
You're
So,
right.
what are your thoughts and experiences with your products and gummies?
See, interestingly, we have gummy prototypes developed already with Grimin,
Okay.
Granda, and Stades. Okay, these three
Oh, so
ingredients.
that's nice.
Yeah.
Status with gummies for like just esports, easy
Yeah.
consumption.
So you might have listened to NBJ presentation where Gen Z is the target now for gummies. So and of course the esports is mostly the Gen Z is the target customer group also in esports also. So studies is can be positioned or can be developed as a gummy, which we already did some prototypes, and even Grantry and Grimin also goes into gummy format. So all three ingredients which we already have prototypes developed in the gummy format. So this can be developed in that format. So there is no stability or there is no manufacturing concerns associated with that.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, ultimately, gummies is probably going to be a category where we're going to, I think, work very hard. Um, we might
It
have
has
to,
certain limitations, like you cannot, incorporate all the actives at
yeah,
a certain, certain dose range. So there are
yeah.
certain limitations also, you know, which needs to
Yeah.
be, addressed. In
Yeah,
fact,
absolutely. I think it takes a team. I think there's a huge amount of uncertainty and unknowns. So
Mm.
we can't guarantee that it's going to be a good product unless you work together.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
when I speak with product development specialists or if I work with formulation scientists,
Mm-hmm.
the first thing always is introduce my manufacturing technology point person to the brand, and from day one there should be a correspondence about what are they thinking about, what even like just the idea of dosage, immediately recognizing what are the limitations and what's a realistic dosage, and sometimes those things are not addressed until a month,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you know this is where this is how we're gonna go beyond, Arun.
yeah.
Really being part of that team effort to bring what ends up happening is we're accelerating the
Mm-hmm.
go-to-market strategy, right? Making sure that we optimize the time during which no money is being generated. There's
Yeah,
no revenue being generated during the product development phase. We can
yeah,
only generate revenue once you start selling. So whatever
absolutely.
we do, we have to get to the point where we sell, generate revenue for the brand, and then we concurrently continue optimizing.
Yeah.
Maybe come up with a 2.0, or you never stop working on the innovation behind the scenes, but we get to revenue as soon as
And
possible.
even we don't stop by doing a single clinical study. We always try to add on science into that. Whether you are generating revenue or not, the eventually you will have to invest into the science. Yeah,
Absolutely.
we,
Invest. It's an
yeah,
investment. It's an investment, and the product is a dividend.
yeah. It's
Uh,
in a future looking investment. You don't
sure.
expect an immediate revenue generation, but in a long run, you will have to validate whatever you are claiming is being backed with studies, is being backed with science. You know,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
just a paper, like hypothetical proposition. It's always backed with studies.
Yeah.
So you
And
have
this is Zeus Hygia's commitment. This is the
to look.
ethos of your company is that you will not bring an ingredient to the market that doesn't have data
Yeah.
supporting its efficacy.
See, we are here to bring in value-added ingredients backed with evidence. So, we coming from all the way from the technical side into entrepreneurship, into commercial. So, we always focus on the quality. We always focus on the premiumness. We always focus on the science behind each innovation. So, as I mentioned earlier, this is a consumer-centric development. We don't not just developing it for a simple commercial brand, like take a regular extract, put it a brand under a brand name, wrap it under a brand, and do some studies and sell it in the market. That's not our motto. That's not our model. So we um, always emphasize on bringing in value addition, addressing the problems, validate it with science. So we are always focused on that, and we keep doing that. And like commercial success is secondary. you know so as I mentioned, we keep on reinvesting the revenues on building this, building the science, building the brand.
Right. Yeah. Well, let me bring this conversation a little bit more toward your recent trip to Korea.
Yeah,
So, I always find the Korean market very interesting, especially for cosmeceuticals.
yeah, you're right.
How how are you positioned in Korea? Are you in the supplement space? Are you in the cosmeceutical space? Where are you positioned?
See, interestingly, this was my, I was returning to Korea almost after 6 years.
Okay.
So I worked there till 2017. I came back to India, started this venture. So all this entrepreneur spark came to me, when I was in Korea. So I had a good connect, like a heart-to-heart connect with Korea. So I love that ambience. I love that, like mix of K-pop with the culture, tradition, and everything. Like so. Like I was really emotional to go back to Korea. After 6 years, and like connecting back to my ex-colleagues, friends, and all. Having said that, we are already doing some business in Korea, and we are into supplements. We are selling branded ingredients in Korea, and Korea is one of the like in Asia. Korea is one of the fastest growing market. Like there is certain instability in China. There is certain economical issues in Japan. So, but Korea is economically stable and like a predominantly growing market. And now, when it comes to supplement industry, definitely Korea is one of the biggest in like Asia Pacific market. So, cosmeceutical industries are already a matured one. It's a very big, Korean cosmeceutics is across the globe. It's well accepted and well proven on. Though we are not into cosmeceutics as of now, we are only into nutraceutical ingredient space and into supplement industry.
All right. And you left in 2017. So how long were you in Korea?
I was there almost 5.5 years.
5.5 years. And you were doing product development in Korea,
Yeah, I
and
was
you
I was with a biotechnology company. I was
oh,
leading their R&D initially. Then I moved on to project management, business development, and various segments, various
sure.
departments. Yeah.
Yeah. So Korea, as a person from India, you moved there, what was Korea like?
Yeah, initially it was tough, like it was an like accidental opportunity for me. I never wanted to, was no never thought of going to Korea and working there actually. So it was an opportunity came through one of my friend, and I took it up. I moved over there in 2012, and like when I moved there, it was a different culture, different food, language barrier. So a little bit of struggle in the initial phase, but once you settle down, you never come back. Such a beautiful country, such an amazing people, loving, caring people,
Yeah.
and very safe country. Like I traveled across maybe around 14, 15 countries so far, and I feel Korea is one of the safest. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's such a beautiful, amazing people and culture. So I was almost settled down, but this entrepreneur spark forced me to come back to India and start this venture actually.
So coming back to India is a pretty popular trend. There's a lot of successful established professionals who are
Mm-hmm.
returned to India. There's a number of youngsters who have studied abroad, and they're in a position to get jobs in major multinationals based in Europe or US or elsewhere, and they're coming back to India, opening up enterprises, opening up businesses. What's happening in India?
As you know, like now India is the market to go for, right? India has got that business landscape also in last a decade, and in the last 10 years it has opened up, and we also got a lot of opportunities. Most of these multinationals are focusing towards India, and having said, to just to add on that China plus one strategy, post COVID
Yeah.
issues and all. India is really a booming market given the larger population, larger market size, with a stable economy, a stable democratic government. See, we are the one, proudly we could say that it's one of the, growing economies across the globe. And of course, every, multinationals are focused to enter here actually.
Yeah.
So, uh, it's a great opportunity whoever wanted to start enterprise in India. This is the time to go, and this is the right time to invest in India, and it's all yours actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot. My trips to India have been very enlightening, going to different parts of India, also visiting the manufacturing facilities. Where's your manufacturing facility located, Arun?
Our office and lab is located in Hyderabad, and our manufacturing happens in uh, one in Bangalore side, near to Bangalore, and another one is in Chittoor. It's in Andhra Pradesh. So southern part of India, the manufacturing happens in these two destinations, and we operate out of Hyderabad actually.
And the ingredients that you guys are sourcing, are they regionally close to where your facility is, or are there
Yeah,
advantages to where
absolutely.
you are located?
Yeah, absolutely. This is closer to our manufacturing location, and all most of the sourcing happens from the southern part of India, so which
Right.
is closer to Karnataka or Andhra region actually.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Hyderabad is also very, very popular in the news, as in the last 10 years has prospered considerably. It's almost the new Silicon Valley
You're
of
right.
India.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Or is it already the Silicon Valley of India? I'm not sure if it's
Yeah,
not.
it's we are just Bangalore was the first Silicon Valley
Yeah.
probably, and now Hyderabad has taken over. In the last 10 years, I could see visibly the difference over here in last 5 years. A lot of development has happened. A lot of multinational has started their operations from here. You could see all the headquarters of major, giants like Amazon, Microsoft. Google. Most of them are located in Hyderabad, actually.
Yeah, I think
Now,
Amazon's largest campus, largest global campus is the one they built in India, in
yeah,
Hyderabad.
you're right.
That's
In Hyderabad.
amazing.
Hyderabad is always known for pharma capital, known as a pharma capital, pharma hub. Because all these pharmaceutical APIs, API manufacturing companies are located out of Hyderabad. Now, adding on to that, now IT is also booming. It has become a Silicon Valley.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so this is all I think speaks largely to I think the credentials of India over the next coming decade, over the next 10, 15 years. Really, really, it's hard to see how India is not at the center of the development of our industry. Our industry is going to be led by, there's always a huge component of business that is driven by China. But uh, I even then think, with the way geopolitical situations are, that could change instantly. We just never know. So really looking at India as a stable partner for the long term is something that we at You Go Beyond, it's really about creating value for our Indian counterparts, creating visibility so people should know that Zeus Hygia, who they are, where they are, and where will you be? So you will be at Supply Side West
Yeah, you're
with me.
right. Yeah,
We'll be attending the Diwali party on October 30th.
yeah, you're
That
right.
we'll send more information on. That's a very I think that was a great, important, and gracious move by the organizers
Mhm.
to take into consideration that there's a huge contingent from India, and as well as Indians from just the U.S. market attending the show. And there's going to be a lot of people missing Diwali. So I think it's important that everyone get together and at least convene together, give each other best wishes, and it's the season. It's the day of just looking forward to a bright future. Prayers for
Yeah,
gratitude for the past, few prayers for the future. So we'll see you there. Uh, what else? What else should we tell anyone that's interested in maybe meeting with you while you're in the U.S. in October? You're gonna be around for a little while, right? For a few days.
absolutely. I'll be
Yeah,
there in West Coast, probably at least 2 to 3 days ahead of the supply side West. We can
sure.
set up a meeting with whoever wants to meet, all
Yeah,
prospects or
yeah,
friends, you know.
yeah. And we can
Okay.
have calls, video calls for anybody that wants to just get to know a little bit about these ingredients and dive into the supplement studies. Douglas Kaplan on LinkedIn, he's always he's very adamant, as he should be, that any product that's demonstrating any kind of efficaciousness should be supported by a study. So he asked on a post, is
Mm,
there a clinical study? And you were very quick to send me the link,
yeah, yeah,
and we posted it. And so he acknowledged receiving it. And I think that's really important. That's really important. Just consistently just making sure that anything that we promote,
mm,
it's correlated to the study, and people know what they're getting. We don't have to put any color on it. The study is the study, the data is the data.
yeah,
So that's our plan. So
yeah.
yeah, Arun, I
And
think
east side
go ahead, buddy.
also, if you want to set up some meetings in the east side also, I'm open.
Yeah,
I can come to east, and together we can come to west also.
sure. Yeah, that's the plan. I think what we'll be doing today's September 2nd. So
Mm,
we have a month and about a week. So we have about 5 weeks before supply side,
yeah,
and we'll get a schedule going. Um, Let me ask you just a couple of more questions, just general, outside of business. You touched on when we spoke before, what you used to do in Korea, for fitness. Um, What do you do today? How do you encompass fitness in your daily regimen?
See, like if I'm not traveling, at least I go to the gym. I will have a walk in the treadmill probably for around 30 minutes, and kind of a weight lifting and all. Like around 45 minutes to 1 hour, I used to do some workouts, every day morning. Now, my travel schedule, like it's bit, hectic. So sometimes I miss out, like, so coming back home, then I try to, cope up with this schedule. So either, go for a walk, maybe 1 hour walking, or, hit the gym. In the gym also, I normally do treadmill and, like weights. So, I just missed to tell you that in Korea, I used to do half marathons and all, like it was a very healthy lifestyle there. you know, so you will have to sacrifice something, coming back, you're building something, you have to sacrifice something, like, so, balancing, trying to balance, with my busy schedule and fitness. So, at times I miss out, but I try to cop it up, you know.
Yeah, so I love the fact that you've already established such a high bar.
Yeah.
You're doing half marathons. It's not a small thing. That's
Yeah.
very, very
And
accomplished.
I want to reduce my, fat and, body weight. Probably I have a target to reduce some, pounds, probably in next to 6 months. So when we catch up, probably in supply side east, I'll be little thinner. That's what my
Well,
target.
yeah, Dave Slagle, he's a good friend, and he's somebody that we met at NBJ as well. He's with
Yeah,
Radical
yeah,
Science. And
yeah.
and Dave and I and Scott Dicker from Spins and Diana Morgan, who's the founder of What's Up, What's Ups.
Hmm.
We got together some time ago and we had a gym session during an event and it turned into this What's Up with Pumps. Um, we're gonna make sure that you come out to that event. It's early in the morning on one of the days. I'll get you the details, but
Yeah.
we definitely gotta I think highlight not weight. Uh don't worry about I don't think it matters how much you weigh. I think it's just really your own eye test. You know where you were at your optimal health. Like when you were doing those half marathons in Korea, like you knew how healthy you were. So whatever the weight is, whatever, but you know your body better than anyone. And it's just like making sure I think this is the lesson I learned that,
Mm.
just keep myself uh focused on the healthiest I can be right now and what can I continue to do to keep moving forward, going beyond. And it's the next rep. It's always like I recently did a video where I showed Dave how many push-ups I was doing, but I only showed him the part of the video where at the point where I got tired. And then I started counting because the real work begins when you get tired,
Yeah, 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 you're right. Like
and I want
I
to
read
be
it
able to do
somewhere.
that. So I think Greeman would be a really good product for me. I'm gonna start
Yeah,
messing around with it. We gotta get you this. We're gonna get some samples and
yeah, we'll be getting some bottles, capsules.
yeah, and then we're gonna have some, unscientific observations that I'll just be sharing my own, and we'll see. Like this is how it works. I believe that you have to have some goals, and you have to have some people that help push you, and ultimately it's just a combination of your own goals with mentors or leaders, somebody who's ahead of you, who says you can do more,
The
right?
most
It's
important thing when I became an entrepreneur, what I observed is like you are the one motivates you. Nobody else motivates you. There will be ups and downs every now and then in business,
and
but you have to stay motivated, and you are the only one keeping you motivated. That's more
yeah,
important.
yeah, wellness. This just the idea of going to the gym. Me and my wife, we started this practice of going to the gym regularly, and a lot of it just became the backbone of our thinking. So no matter what's happening, we got kids, we have old aging parents, different responsibilities, and then overall life. And through all of that instability, the most stable thing we have is we choose to go to the gym and work out very hard and get the heart pumping and get sweaty, get tired, and then feel so satisfied that, okay, look at how hard we can work. It's just a reminder, right? It's like because this is the kind of work we got to do. We got to do this when I'm working with you, if we're working on the road, if we're going, it's really the same thing, just focused effort on the repetition. And, whether it's a push up or a pull up and then when you get tired,
you need to be persistent,
persistent. And I think it creates a mentality. So the gym has become more of a mental, an arena for mental strength. I have more muscles, but I'm stronger in my head than I ever was. So I think the supplements now becomes more of a relevant information to convey to people, talk to people about brand development. And then as we start having meetings, we should try to also encourage any other brands that we start working with. We start exploring as many things that are outside the box. And then also Zeus Hygia continues to innovate into the next decade, right? 2024 means that, we're about 3 months away. We're going to enter 2025. And, we already know 2030, this market, the business between India is going to be multiplied. So, we want to be a part of that. That is our established goal. And there's no reason why we can't. We just have to tell as many people about it. So I guess last thing, Arun, Zeus Hygia, the genesis of the name. What's the story?
Yeah, so every name comes with a story, so Zeus is supreme god in Greek,
Yeah.
Like Shiva or Brahma in Hindu mythic, so Zeus is a supreme god in Greek, and Hygia stands for a goddess called, for hygiene, It's,
Okay.
it's again a Greek goddess. So Hygia is a goddess of wellness. So I would say that Zeus Hygia stands for supreme wellness.
I love
I
it.
mean, yeah.
I love it. I
So
love it. Yeah, this is the foundation of your company's purpose. So
yeah.
excellent, excellent. Thank you, Arun. I really enjoyed getting to know a little bit more about you, your company. We're gonna do more of these, and we're gonna specialize. We'll probably focus more on a particular product. We'll come up with some concepts, do some comparables, see some products in the marketplace. I think one of the things that's very interesting is when you go into the supermarket and you see the products that are out there, and then you wonder right away, like, there's no way a consumer knows.
Exciting. Yeah.
It's very different than when from the clinical space, you have data that substantiates the dosage. Some of these products don't have the right dosage. The clinical dosage is very important. So we'll talk about these things and not to criticize, but to educate. Like, I really think that the more we talk to each other, the more we can create content that can educate people about the supplements that they're taking. And
Yeah, right.
and we need an educated consumer, right?
Absolutely. Especially when you are in a branded space, you have to educate your consumer.
Every day. All right.
Absolutely.
Arun, I appreciate you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience in the beginning while we were working out technical difficulties.
No worries, Uday. Pleasure talking to you.
All right. I'll be in touch. Talk to you soon.
Sure. Thank
All
you.
right, brother.
Bye-bye.
Bye.